Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the monumental Supreme Court decision that President Trump just won regarding the funds he can use from the Pentagon, I want to just give you a quick recap. This guy is like, there's something uncanny going on. He has to have, you talk about a team of guardian angels, something around him, because there's no way Democrats or media or Hollywood or Twitter or social media can even touch this president. President Trump has battled the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, James Clapper, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Brennan, Hollywood, most newspapers in the country, most pundits on YouTube, actually, or I should say a great many. He was set up and framed utilizing quote-unquote evidence that was purchased by his direct political rival, the Golden Moo, who will run again. Yeah, 120 into it. Clinton is running again in 2020. She's going to be the Democratic nominee in 2020. That's a whole other story. She'll lose again, but that's a whole other story. Michael Avenatti, Michael Cohen, the UK ambassador, James Baker, Andrew McCabe, both of whom are under criminal investigation, worked for the FBI, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. We had no idea who they were, but apparently they were stooping each other, and they said, we will stop Trump. Well, at least Strzok did. Robert Mueller, who, that was an unmitigated disaster of epic proportions. A public relations nightmare debacle. Catastrophe. A catastrophe. He didn't even want to testify. He had his initial press conference where he was very clear. He's like, "This is the last time you'll hear from me. Hasta la vista, baby. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm not testifying ever, ever, ever. You will never hear from me again. I'm walking into the sunset. Don't call me. Don't ask for me to testify again. Don't do it. Don't do it." And of course, what does Jerry Nadler do? What are the Democrats doing? By the way, Trump has a hilarious he has a hilarious message about Nadler on Twitter, or like this hilarious song, and you just go on his Twitter profile. But they asked Mueller, do you know who Christopher Steele, or do you know who the Glenn Simpson is? And do you know who Fusion GPS is? Do you know what Fusion GPS is? And it was like, do you know who Christopher Steele, or do you know what the Steele dossier is? Al Capone's vault? No. Do you know what the Steele dossier is? Pass the Crevassier? Chabaranks? No. No, not Pass the Crevassier. Steele dossier. Let me sing it now. Pass the Crevassier. Everybody. No. What are you talking about? Do you know where you are? This is the Hoover administration, isn't it? No, you're not. What's going on here? Do you know who Glenn Simpson is? John Glenn? Oh my God. I knew him. I know him. Great man. No, not John Glenn. Glenn Simpson. Pioneer at NASA. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so, nothing works with the Democrats. And everybody from Robert Mueller, and this is long-winded, yes, but you have to get the full recap. You have to get the full recap. Michael Cohen's in prison. Michael Avenatti could face, potentially, time in the big house. Andrew McCabe I believe he's the first person to get indicted. Peter Strzok eventually, along with James Comey, they need to get indicted, and eventually either all of these figures or a whole bunch will get charged with the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute that I talk about in the Federalist that they try to utilize against Trump. UK ambassador forced to resign, James Baker and Andrew McCabe both under criminal investigation. You have the emoluments clause tossed aside by a judge. Just recently, another judge said that, oh yeah, by the way, since the United States government does not have categorical evidence and proof that the Kremlin ordered social media companies, we need to be quiet regarding that claim. The United States government cannot make that kind of claim because there's a lawsuit, there's a court case ongoing. So we have all of these issues. I mean, all of these defeats for everyone who doesn't like Trump. Then you have, finally, I'll get to it, and I haven't even gotten to all his victories. Great economy, record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment. And I say, like, the media is falling into the Bette Midler syndrome. If there's record low Black and Latino unemployment, and he signed the First Step Act, and 3,100 inmates are already released from prison, and there are economic zones in economically depressed areas, he's really bad at being racist. If the only thing you could say is, oh, well, how could anyone think he's not, this horrendous, bigoted person? Well, he's really bad at it because the same people that Trump is accused of disliking or harboring, bigoted sentiments against are benefiting the most, or at least they're benefiting from the economy, like all Americans. So how is this? And then the First Step Act, prison reform compared to Clinton, who's running in 2020, 94 crime bill. But Supreme Court clears finally. Supreme Court clears way for Trump admin to use defense funds for border wall construction. This is really important. The Supreme Court on Friday cleared the way for the Trump administration to use $2.5 billion from the Department of Defense to construct parts of a wall along the southwest that the government argues is necessary to protect national security. And the court voted 5-4 along ideological lines to allow the funds to be used while the court... so then you have, it never ends, see, Trump's lies are getting bolder, and the press is stuck in the middle. It's like, what? He keeps winning, it doesn't work. And they're like, oh my God, why is there no more outrage? And, well, number one, you didn't care about lying when it was Clinton, who deleted yoga emails and said she used servers outside the U.S. government for convenience and survived Bosnian sniper fire. We can go on forever. Then we go on forever. Anyway, I'm reading this. The Supreme Court clears the way for Trump admin to use defense funds for construction. This is a huge, monumental victory. They can't stop Trump. They can only hope to contain him. And at the end of the day, it is the best thing for the country. You need some kind of barrier to prevent the flow of narcotics, illegal narcotics, from coming into the country. That's number one. So even if you think it's immoral, there needs to be some kind of barrier that makes it more difficult for smugglers to bring in illegal narcotics. Okay, that's number one. And he said, well, most of the drugs come from this. Doesn't matter. It'll still impede the flow. It'll make it different. You think smugglers are like, oh, that's a good thing? No. Then the issue is you need some way to dissuade people from making that long, life-threatening journey. When AOC is weeping and you see pictures where she's, oh my God, the waterworks, but she's looking into the abyss, or she's looking into the, into a chain link fence, but you don't see what she's looking at. It's an obvious, shameless publicity stunt, kind of similar to when President Trump drank Flint water. If anyone debated me and said, oh, Trump is a racist, did you see what I said? I would say, well, did you see what President Obama did? Maybe President Obama didn't say the things that Trump says, which, by the way, have to be misconstrued, I should say, as, oh my God, he said this, he said that. President Obama did numerous things that if Trump had done them, it would be confirmation that he's the worst person on the planet. President Obama, Clinton, and Biden helped destroy a nation called Libya. And you can look what's taking place right now. It hasn't stopped. And you're talking about this is now going on, 10 years? Around 10 years of nonstop chaos because of Obama's administration and the wonderful NATO intervention that caused untold carnage. Then President Obama drank Flint water in a shameless publicity stunt. And he was nobody cares. If Trump did that, it would be supremacy and enabling and, oh my God, he represents this and that and this and that. President Obama drank Flint water to deceive people. As a public relations ploy, a shameless stunt. It's no problem. It's fine. That's why the rest of the world is like, whatever. We don't care what you think. Did you see what he tweeted? Yeah, did you see what President Obama did? Deported more human beings than any president ever. He was called the deporter-in-chief. He was fine. No problem. I mean, President Obama's administration was the antithesis. I mean, he drilled more. He had the largest expansion of domestic oil and gas production. I mean, suddenly climate change is an existential issue. Oh my God, we have to listen to these people. Oh my God. And then before it was a manufactured crisis, and Trump was saying, "Hey, it's not a manufactured crisis. This is a national emergency." Now it's, oh my God, the AOC, and please read my article my op-ed in the Jerusalem Post. It is below. What AOC stated about what's taking place in that region of the country is far more offensive and egregious and horrible than anything Trump has ever said, because it distorts memory and it's revisionist history. And I'm not even going to get into it because the algorithm won't let me. But read the article below. And by the way, it's in the pinned comment, my Jerusalem Post op-ed. And by the way, my HA2A, subscribe to it. I'm going to start this Monday, I'm going to start doing daily segments even before my website comes out. So this Monday, I'll do like 5-minute segments. And there might be some profanity alerts. I'll go back to the old school. And I'm going to build that channel. And it'll be, a more, raw, irreverent H.A. Goodman. So starting this Monday, I will debunk everything you hear in the media, about 5-minute segments. And as the channel grows, I'll increase the segments longer and longer. But my website's going to come out, and it'll help you defeat anyone who has Trump derangement syndrome, especially on any major topic. Trump said both sides. No, he didn't. Not in the context that the manic obsessed, deranged, delusional left thinks he said it. Anyway, that's 6,000 words on that website. Trump worked with Russia. I debunked that. I mean, you can read my writing in the Federalist. You can read my op-eds in the Jerusalem Post. But my next website, my website is going to be like a think tank for all Trump supporters around the country and the world. Help you defeat any Trump derangement syndrome person on any major topic. Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably read the headlines already. I had to do this segment because you have to look at everything in aggregate. The guy cannot be stopped. He can't be stopped. He can't be stopped. And it's pretty unbelievable. Everyone is against him, and yet he still keeps on winning. And the hilarious and also pathetic thing is that they claim to be morally superior, yet they can't. Yet they're not. They're obviously not. They're moral in terms of morality. They're completely bereft. They're morally bereft. But they claim to be morally superior. They're self-righteous, and they keep losing, which makes it even more hilarious. Give me your thoughts below. If you want to support my voice long-term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. Ladies and gentlemen, check out my segments later today. Thank you so very much. Yet another major victory, the Supreme Court. And now they're trying to get grand jury information, which is actually illegal, because if prosecutors decline to indict anyone on interference, which is what the whole thing was about, and collusion, and I think even information on, especially information on people who were not indicted. Now Schiff and Nadler and Democrats, they all want that information. It's like, for what purpose? It is done. Even CNN is like, it's done. But they keep on going because they have nothing. And it's all for Clinton 2020. And I explain that endlessly. She's not good. They don't have anyone. So just forget about, well, how do you know she's running? Who do they have? Tell me who's running. Tell me who's going to be nominee aside from Clinton. Tell me. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much.